and welcome to Branch of Israel. This is Rabbi Roger coming to you from God's beautiful country, Israel. June 5th through the 10th is the anniversary of what is known as the famous Six-Day War. It was both short and miraculous, how God really turned a then tiny country of only a little less than 2.5 million Jewish people into a victorious nation. Even though it initially did not look good for the Israelis, it ended up in a defeat that leaves the world still talking today. In May of 1967, Egyptian infantry divisions, armored formations, and Air Force units all moved in strength across the Suez Canal into the Sinai Desert near Israel's border. King Hussein of Jordan flew to Cairo to sign a pact with Egypt, and an Egyptian general was sent to take command of the Jordanian forces. The mosques were preaching jihad, or holy war, and stirring up excitement of war amidst the people. It did not look good for Israel, especially as small as they were. They appeared to be outnumbered, and so they had to mobilize the reserves as well. When Egypt, Syria, and Jordan formed a pact and placed their militaries on high alert for war, it became clear that conflict was inevitable. On the morning of June 5th, the Israeli Air Force sent 200 planes to an Egyptian air base. Although they were flying low and under radar, the Jordanian radar was able to detect this large mass of planes and quickly sent a message to the Egyptians using the code word for war. Miraculously, the Egyptian coding frequencies were changed the day before, and Jordan was not yet updated. This allowed the Israelis to destroy half of Egypt's air force. On June 7th, an eerie silence fell on East Jerusalem when Jordanian firing stopped. It was too quiet, and so Israeli troops were dispatched to check for a trap. The report was of a miracle and not a trap. The city was empty, except for the equipment that the Jordanian army left behind. Israeli forces entered East Jerusalem, taking the Temple Mount, and reaching the Western Wall without ever firing a single shot. Although the people of Israel had returned to the land again and again, they never retook all of Jerusalem until June 8, 1967. On that day, Israel not only had the land, but had her holiest city of Jerusalem. For the first time in almost 2,000 years, Zechariah 8:3 reads, "Thus says the Lord, I will return to Zion and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. Then Jerusalem will be called the city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts will be called the holy mountain." The day before the end of the Six-Day War, in the Golan Heights, Israel had to win an uphill battle against a heavily entrenched and well-fortified Syrian army, consisting of 75,000 troops. It was estimated that 30,000 Israeli lives would be lost. Yet after 7 hours of heavy fighting, Israel had miraculously gained control of the main sectors. The morning of June 10th, the Israeli forces still expected another day of fierce fighting. However, the Syrians pulled out of the Golan, fleeing frantically and leaving weapons behind. The mountains of the Golan, which were once strategically used to murder Jews, had now fallen into the hands of the Israelis. Thus, were able to sign a ceasefire. For more teachings and information, visit branchofisrael.com. Again, this is Rabbi Roger coming to you from Israel. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye, or see you again.